In today's video, I'm going to go over how we got paid to make a docu-series and mixed the URSA Cine 12K LF and the Sony FX3 successfully. So this is a docu-series about weight loss. This is actually for the owner of the business, who's been one of our long-term clients, about 8 years or so, that we've worked with John and his team over at Euphoria and Club Euro. You've seen some of their stuff on our channel. And John came to us and said, hey, I want to go on a weight loss journey and I would like you guys to tell the story. So that is how we got into this. This is a real paid client project, and let's go.
I took all that weight off, and then I met my wife.
So the two big things I want to cover is the gear and why we chose to mix the URSA Cine 12K LF and the Sony FX3 and how that worked out for us. And then also talk about how do we get a job like this and how would you maybe go about pitching and getting a job like this as we did for this project. So as far as the gear, as Mike and I were looking at pre-production for this, we decided that we would use the Sony cameras FX3, A7S3, and our Tamron zoom lenses for all the run and gun portions. We ran lav mics on talent. We would tape those, to their chest, under shirts, whatever, to conceal those lav mics. And we were using the Rode Wireless Pros for that, and it worked out pretty well. We did try to use the time code features on that. That part didn't really work out too well. So Mike is rocking his A7S3 with his super cool Tamron super zoom lens. It's just not well suited to this sort of multi-camera run and gun stuff. There are better time code solutions for that. We've not really gotten into time code, but we finally are making that jump, and we've got some proper time code gear now that we're getting sorted out. That'll be coming in another video. So we handled the run and gun portion with handheld Sony cameras. We basically had kind of the Cine saddle style support with top handles, monitors, just a basic camera rig so that we could get some good shots, and that worked out pretty well for us. And then for the interview portion, we changed things up quite a bit, and for that we used the URSA Cine 12K LF. We also used the Blackmagic 6K full frame, which is the same thing as the Pixis, different body, same sensor, and then we also used a Sony FX3 in the mix. So we had three completely different cameras all mixed together for the interview, and I feel like it all cuts together great. So that is kind of our gear approach. Obviously for the interview, we didn't do a cinema verite style interview. We did a very polished sit-down interview that's kind of a cinematic style, and that's what we decided to do for the interview because we wanted a really good feel on the storytelling piece that would be there to cut in with the very handheld, very raw B-roll and sometimes A-roll because we were, shooting sound for all the workout portions. And so this story was the day of John's first day in the gym, first day doing Pilates, first day doing strength training and all this stuff, and he was dying. And that was the point. That was the point, to capture that on this day. This is day one. This is ground zero. And so that's what we were there to capture. And so the handheld camera, all of that stuff was all intentional in the story arc of how we captured this. And then when we come to the sit-down interview portion, it's very polished, very cinematic, and that is also by design because the contrast between those two things kind of really helps again tell the story because this the brand Euphoria and Club Euro, if you look those up or look at any of the stuff we've done for them, it's a very polished, very high-end brand. It's got a very light and airy style. We didn't go completely light and airy for the interview. We left it a little more dark and moody than that, so definitely a little more cinematic than what we've done for some of their actual company work, because this is not a promo video for their company, even though we are definitely showcasing what their company can do for people. That is part of this, is to say, hey, look, this is the kind of transformations you can expect if you want to come and be part of what we do here. So there's definitely a kind of a marketing component to this, but this is John's story, and that's really what this is. This is John telling his story and using his story to inspire others. So speaking of John, how do we get a job like this? Now, ultimately, we get a job like this through pitching. And we've pitched many projects to John over the years, and some he's gone for, some he hasn't. But we have, in the course of that business relationship, established ourselves as a partner. And what that results in is there are times when we're pitching to them, and there's times when they pitch to us. There's times when, John and Lauren, who runs the marketing over there, will say, hey, Josh, can we have a call with you? We have an idea we want to run by you. And that was how this one went down. John scheduled a call with me and said, hey, I want to talk about something. And so we jumped on a call, and he said, I'm going to go on this weight loss journey, and I would like you guys to capture the story. And from there, we started talking, and we said, okay, what are we going to do? We can do this, we can do this, we can do this. And ultimately, I pitched him, what if we do a Docu-Series? And we talked through that, and it's like, yes, this is the right way to go. And John loved it, and we all thought it was a great idea, and we talked, strategy on it. We had another meeting or two just to kind of make sure we're all on the same page. We know what we're going to do, and, came up with the rates to get it done, and it was all good to go, all approved. So because we have nurtured this client relationship for years, when it came time for us to say, how about you give us a big chunk of money to do a docu-series on your weight loss journey? We've established trust with the client. And so John knows we're not just pitching him a project to make a dime and run. He knows we're pitching this to him because we're like, this will actually accomplish your goals, and this will actually help you. And so when you've been able to build that trust with someone and you've become a trusted partner in working with them, you're able to have a whole different level of conversation than you have on, your first meeting, where it's just kind of everyone's getting to know each other, and do I trust you? And do you have my best interest in mind? Yada, yada. You're just trying to sell me stuff. Like, once you've built up a relationship over years, you can start to have a whole different level of conversation. And we have a number of clients like this who we've worked with for years, and we have each other's back, and they know we have their back. And so we can have conversations like this and say, hey, can I pitch a really off the wall thing to you that might be expensive, but I think it's going to be really valuable for you? And, they don't always say yes, but they're open to the conversation. And so being able to get in the room and make that sort of a pitch is something that you earn with trust over time. So as you're working with clients, even if they are small clients, even if you're not sure, where they're going to go, think about the long-term future of those clients. Okay. Whew.
Yeah, everything's straight.
Sweet.
Straight.
Woo. We are out.
You did it.
That was like world's fastest load. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now
All right.
we're gonna close this.
Now. Yeah. All right, I'll stay on this side. It's like throwing everything in the closet. Now you got to clean it when you're a kid. So now we got to clean the closet. And funny enough, John started as one of those clients. I won't spill all the beans, but about 8 years ago, John called me, and we actually talked about this story as we were standing in his office today. He called me and said, hey, I'm looking to do like a $500 video. I want to do this and this. And I was just kind of basically like, yeah, we can't really help you for $500. But I took the time to talk with him and explain things to him. And we spent probably half an hour on the phone. And he was like, okay, thank you. I really appreciate you explaining that. But I don't think it's going to work for what we're going to do. Okay, great. So, we hung up, and that was that. A couple months later, he calls me, hey, Josh, I remember we had a great conversation, and I'm ready to do something bigger. And then we made a amazing tour video for their medical spa that they're still running on their website today because we properly did the video. And I mean, the video is 8 years old. I mean, it still looks great. Yeah. I'm just like, John, I wish I hadn't done such a good job on your video so you'd hire me for a new one. But it started as that, and over the years they've spent a whole lot more than $500 with us because of the relationship we have built with them. So it's very important to treat your clients well and always keep their interests in mind. Don't be out to make a quick buck and run. That's never a good strategy. So jumping back to the gear for a minute, when you're mixing cameras like we are, you've got an URSA Cine 12K LF, which is a brand new amazing sensor. You've got the FX3, which is a great sensor, and you've got the full frame 6K, which is an older sensor from Blackmagic. These cameras are not the same, and if you just point them all, like, they're not going to match. Just add a camera, they don't match, and so you have to figure out how to make them match. And so shooting color charts is really important. Also, making sure that you are using like the same series of lenses. Like, we were shooting this on the Zine primes, and so having matched lenses really makes a difference. Now, I will say, on the FX3, we did not use a Zine prime. We used a Tamron zoom and left it in autofocus because we were on a kind of a tight, locked off shot, and I was like, I really want to just leave the eye tracking on, and we did, and it was a little more color work to get it to match, but we got them all to match, and I think at the end of the day, it's seamless. As video guys, we can nitpick and we can kind of be like, oh, I can see it. Clients never do. Clients never will. And so that's when you go, is it good enough for the clients? And am I happy enough with it? And I'm like, I'm happy enough with it. So that is something to keep in mind whenever you're matching. But I really wanted that just really clean, cinematic, full frame, amazing, image that comes off of the URSA for the hero shot of the interview. And I think it was really worth having that and bringing that camera out, even though we could have shot this whole thing on a bunch of Sonys and it would have also looked great. But I loved having, the addition of that URSA camera. Plus, I have to pull it out on shoots. I have to justify the fact that I bought that camera, because if I just shoot everything on the FX3, I'm going to be really sad. So I'm not really here to break down the filming process for a documentary, how do you shoot your verite in your handheld and how do you light it and all this stuff. Like, there's plenty of other videos on that. That's not really the purpose in this video. But, yeah, we definitely went with kind of a verite handheld style. We left the lighting pretty much alone for all of the B-roll stuff. The interview is the only thing we lit. And, we just used the light, be on the shadow side, watch your exposure, make sure that there's enough light, for the shot you're getting, all that sort of thing. But, it was just using the light rather than lighting things. So before I roll this documentary, there was a lot of things we liked about this project. The whole overall tone and stuff. Like, we were very happy, getting what we were going for from the beginning. I was like, yes, it's a good feeling when the project comes together and you're like, yep, this is what I wanted it to be. So before I just keep yammering on and on, let me go ahead and just show you guys the film and let us know what you think of the film and the process. And I hope you guys enjoy it, and stay tuned for part 2 in the series.
I just don't want to spend the rest of my life battling with this. And I'm tired of not being able to do certain things with my family. But it makes me not participate in certain things that I know if I was healthy, I would be all in all the time, right in there, playing with them, doing the activities with them. And it just makes it more difficult, to do those things. And the way that makes me feel is obviously just sad, and it makes me have regrets that I don't want to really live with. Yeah. I had some pretty drastic fluctuations in weight. I probably gained, about 70 pounds, after college, probably within first 2 or 3 years. I took all that weight off, and then I met my wife, got married, and shortly thereafter gained all of the weight back and then some. I've lowered my expectations on myself or my standards, and sometimes I've gotten overly used to that.
I'm gonna mess through it. Go ahead. Great drive, just like that. Perfect. Don't forget to breathe.
Oh my gosh. Well, I survived day one. It was definitely challenging. I did my first strength training class and also my first Pilates class today in about the last 8 months. So it definitely took everything out of me. So there were some moments there where I was like, I gotta do a little bit of a timeout here and regain my composure. The reason that this is important to me is because I want to live life more, to my potential. And I want to experience and do more things. And my weight has definitely held me back in a lot of ways. And that has been, a really hard thing for me over the years. I would say that this is the biggest challenge of my life. It's something that I've tried many times and I've failed at many times. I own Club Euro. Club Euro is located here in Bakersfield, California. We offer Pilates classes and also strength training classes that are all led by very experienced trainers. They're small group workouts. And I've owned Club Euro for probably the last year and a half or so. And during that time, I have kind of neglected my own personal health. And right now I am, want to get started on taking care of myself and trying to overcome something that I've been challenged with for most of my life. And I wanted to share my journey with all of you. I figure that if I can make progress towards improving my health, so can anyone else. And I hope that maybe me sharing, this journey that I'm going to go on will help people to be able to see how Club Euro can also help them kind of, live the type of life that they want to live and be able to achieve, their goals that they have.
Control your stretch on the way down. Heavy, deep, 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 and then drive over. A little deeper. Deep, 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 deep. Drive over, just like that. There you go. Great job there. Let the core do all of it. Wide back, wide back. There we go. If you can, keep the legs extended. Ready? Bring the hips all the way up. There you go. And then control back. Beautiful job.
I am super uncomfortable doing this. I'm not, obviously, as you can see, I'm not good on camera. So it's very awkward for me. It's way outside my comfort zone. And in fact, I really honestly kind of hate doing this. But it's important to me to try to achieve my goals. And also I would like to help others to do the same. One of my goals in doing this is to try to for people to get to know like who we are at Club Euro and what we're about. And I really want to be able to help people like me to be able to live the lives that they want. And I'm hoping that this, might help people see like what kind of help they can get from us here and how we can help them achieve the goals that they have. I've been dieting for 4 weeks and I've lost 22 pounds. And today I started taking my first classes at Club Euro.